Hello, everyone, and welcome. In this recording, I'm going to be speaking about this upcoming full moon taking place in the sign of Capricorn on the 21st of July 2024. Well, this is quite a powerful energy because it's, on one hand, a blue moon, meaning that it's a second full moon in the same sign. And going back, we had in, I do believe, somewhere at the end of May. No, sorry, June, a full moon at around 1 degree of the sign of Capricorn. Let me just check my notes out to be more specific. Just a moment, please. So, yes, we had it on the 22nd of June, a full moon at 1 degrees and 7 minutes of the sign of Capricorn. And now we have another full moon at 29 degrees of Capricorn, more specifically, 29 degrees and 8 minutes. Now, I do believe that for most of my listeners, the 29 degree already rings a big bell, as in, this is going to be important, this is going to be intense, this is going to change things around. And potentially, this is gonna take certain things out of equation, freeing space for others to be included. This, of course, generally speaking, the big picture of what any 29 degrees of any sign might represent. Now, a full moon in itself already denotes an ending, a closure, a culmination, shining a light on something, especially something unseen, unknown, hidden, not in the light of our consciousness for any reason. It doesn't really matter. So, any full moon is a good period when secrets come out, when something is revealed, or when, of course, we ourselves, internally speaking, reach an important conclusion, or the inner light reveals something that changes our state, our mind, something, it changes something within us. The power of truth, especially a truth that we cannot ignore. Sorry, we cannot simply look away. We must ask closely as we can, let's say, look it in the eye. Now, the other reason why this energy is so intense and so very special is because as I said, the previous lunation was at 1 degree of the sign. Okay, it's not zero, but it's very close enough. So the very beginning. So something that is being set up, let's say. But this one is at the very end of the sign. So, in my personal vision, how these two lunations might connect to one another is that this particular 29-degree full moon is freeing more space for that which was begun to be able to grow. Now, I know that this was another full moon at that 1 degree, so it's still a completion or a revelation, but exactly, maybe it highlighted the needs that are not going anywhere, that are not disappearing by magic. Capricorn, that which needs Saturn, the ruler, sacrifice, more time, more patience, more mastery, more of something. And this full moon is where how that more of something, how we get it, or something about that. Um, so the beginning and the end, the alpha and the omega. So feeling wise, state wise, frequency wise, even, and full moon emotion. It doesn't matter which sign, it is still emotional. It is still something that has to do with our psyche, with our feelings, and basically the inner ocean of our being. So Capricorn is the opposite sign of the moon's home sign Cancer. So this is where it's emotion, but that emotion has an effect. That emotion transforms and changes something in our lives, a feeling, a truth, a state, or something more practical. So the other factor which makes this very intense and powerful is that it holds a conjunction, an outer sign conjunction, but does it really matter if it's outer sign conjunction? Because the moon and Pluto are very close to one another, mathematically speaking. It's only about a degree which separates them, if not even less. Something like within the range of a degree. So it's Plutonian. It is transformative. It is a truth. It is something that we need to look at, something that is there. Pluto and Aquarius gonna be there. You know what I mean? Because Aquarius is the future, Aquarius is our higher thinking. So we need to be very in the truth when we deal with Aquarius. Of course, in the truth means something very subjective. It doesn't need to be objective because it's our truth, our perception, our worldview or principles or whatever guides us, whatever animates us, motivates our mind. So our goals, our dreams, our hopes as well included. But of course also the format of our hopes and dreams, how they look like, how exactly Capricorn, how would they appear manifested? You know what I mean? So, because this is also an heretic degree, it's elimination. Something needs to be eliminated. So, if we look at something in a very stark, serious Plutonian manner, what does it mean, Plutonian manner? As in, if for example, if it's like something internal, psychological, almost as if we are our own psychoanalysts with that much objectivity, with that much intensity, we really need to understand. But or let me give it in another context. Aquarius, the world, society, friends, other people, well, their opinion does, or replace opinion with whatever, doesn't matter, does it? Well, actually, this is a full Capricorn full moon. Well, actually, it matters because we are part of the whole. We are part of the collective. We are one of very many. It doesn't matter how special we are. And Capricorn, elimination. It doesn't matter our past, work, sacrifice, virtues, power, mastery, knowledge, professionalism, background, family, education. None of these. There are moments in life when none of this matters. The pro, let's say it like that, is really in the same position as the noob. So, elimination. Our greatest strength, perhaps, doesn't matter. Our strength, the strong, strongest part of our backbone, let's say it like that, doesn't matter. Usually in life, in everything, well, it matters. Right now, it doesn't matter. We are one of many, just one of many. We are being stripped down from our greatest strength. However, that must not, should not And I really, really hope that will not be a bad thing, because many times it is in these moments when we discover everything else that we have within us, or in any way, shape, and form, a truth truly sets us free. So this has an intensity to it. Um, Also, this notorious 29 degree of Capricorn, well, Pluto retrograde is aiming to go there, already almost dipped into it at the time of this full moon. So whatever happens is a preparation for what Pluto is preparing. Whatever Pluto has installed, has, you know, planned, symbolically speaking, of course. But on the other hand, what happened in your life around February 2023? What took place in your life? Because that was the moment Pluto was at around these degrees going forward. So, what transcended, transpired, transformed in your life, or what truth was revealed? And of course, maybe at that time, you couldn't really focus on it or take it that seriously or whatever. But this full moon might be something that links to that period, or maybe not necessarily. Let us look at the other aspects, because it does converse. An aspect that it holds is the sun a trine, its sun illuminating, this from 29 degree of Cancer. Uh, so the sun holds a trine with Neptune, which means that the moon holds a sextile with Neptune. So Neptune. First of all, let's just say it as it is, because collectively speaking, I know it's a trine and sextile, it's a harmony, right? Well, yes, but we must not forget the 29 degree, and we must not forget that Neptune himself is at 29 degree. So something that is, how should I say, illusory, true and not true, oriented towards influencing our feelings or how we view things, our worldview, especially collectively, that will be viral. That will be, how should I say, very, very tumultuously out there. Social media, mainstream media, anything that has to do with journalism, sharing information. Why? Mars at this moment is at 0 degree of Gemini, so that is an important degree. Just like 29 degree is an important degree in the sense that something reaches maturity or is eliminated. 0 degree is the opposite, basically, that which at the first breath. So something is big time hitting the news. Mars in 0 degree of Gemini. And also, this means that Mars holds a trine with Pluto, two power play. Mars is the lower octave of Pluto. So, two energizers, two power players. Pluto is collective, heavy, karmic, slow, of course. Mars is the opposite, quite personal. Um, Mars, of course, is also karmic, but Mars is very much our own personal, how we reacted, what we chosen, what we've done, however we express the self. Mars, so very personal. And these two power players speak in a trine: air trine, Aquarius the collective, Gemini well, of course, Gemini is the collective as well, but the basic component of the collective, the other, the neighbor, the sister, brother, twin, you know, symbolically speaking, the immediate other. So that's sharing information, social media. Both of these signs have in their own way to do with social media, news, journalism, TV, radio, any kind of channel of communication, mouth to mouth, word to the ear. You know what I mean. Uh, but if we want to include another air energy, then we can include Black Moon Lilith in Libra at 2 degrees. That is almost like an air grand trine, where Pluto and Mars are involved, along with Lilith. Now, another thing that all of these planets have, or Lilith not a planet, but have in common, is that they are rather, they have a malefic side. Pluto, ruler of the underworld, right? Pluto, the big money, big power, the big. Uh, Mars, war, anger, selfishness, so to speak. But war is enough. We get Mars very easily. The lower malefic, a Black Moon Lilith. First of all, lunar energy, so deeply emotional, at a full moon, and the dark feminine, instinctual, uh, the darker side of nature, in the sign of partnerships, Libra, agreements. So there is something that is influencing us, right? Libra, our contracts, contractual relationships, what we feel and think about another, or insert whatever you want. Because the sign of Venus, how we feel towards something. Venus herself in the sign of Leo. So very feeling, you know, feeling, definitely feeling it passionately. Sun, straight after the full moon phenomenon, entering Leo, activating Leo, leaving Cancer, everything's on Leo now. Sun, Venus, Mercury retrograde back to Leo, so Leo will definitely be, and then when it will retrograde, it will conjunct the Sun. So Leo is preparing to be maximally energized, more than it already is. So the heart, rulers, kings, queens, royalty, VIPs, the big, famous, powerful, the illusion of the world. So something is there, a very strong influence. Neptune. Now, the influence is both ways, Pisces. Compassion, love, solidarity, let's help, that, and the opposite. Manipulation and psychological warfare and all of that. So it's definitely there. This is where a war enters the mental sphere, all of the air energy. And Grand Trine, okay, you might think, well, shouldn't that be a positive thing, a good news, flow, blessing, right? Grand, not just a Grand Trine. So and of course, the moon, right after the full moon phenomenon, enters Aquarius and enforces the trine, speaking in harmony with Mars, and then Black Moon Lilith in Libra. Even more, a bit later on after the full moon, speaks in harmony with the South Node in Libra. So everything that we need to release, both externally, the proper relationships, contracts, people, that we need to release, but also internally, the patterns and the criteria of which we usually form relationships. Put this in the full moon context. For some people, they find out something shocking about their partners. And how this transforms Pluto, the relationship also, Mars and Gemini, the other, what I say to the other, or Gemini, hands fist fight. Joke, but sadly, not a joke as well. Sadly. It will be also, with Mars in Gemini, a very verbally, at least conflictual energy. Let's make it worse. Mercury, the ruler of Gemini and words and speaking and all of that, well, holds an exact square to the degree with Uranus. You know, what I said about Mars and Pluto, they're each other's octaves and they're in trine, so they power each other up. They're strong. Mars is strong because Pluto lends it its help, aid. Now put that in context. The power information, Aquarius. Information empowers you. Mercury and Uranus are the same. Uranus is the higher octave of Mercury. Uranus is, yes, technology, internet, the quantum flow of information. Mercury, the normal flow of information, speech and stuff like that. Mercury is in Leo, hot. So we speak our hearts, right? What's on our heart? Uranus in Taurus, values, money, finances, pleasure. Do I love it? How do I love it? How does it feel? In Square, tension, surprise, angry words, words that shake you, shock you, surprise you. Expenses, maybe, in the sense that Venus is in Leo as the ruler of Taurus is in Leo. So, what the heart desires. So, if you find out a secret, your partner's secret, let's say, it doesn't really matter what it is, you're gonna react to it one way or another. Let's say that you find out that your partner has an plus extra sexual orientation that you thought. Well, that will produce some feelings, reactions, even if it's very positive, it will still shock you. But you can imagine that can either set you free or set you free in a different way. Bye bye. But this is a joke, really. But put this pattern into context. We find out something, even if it's something internal. My truest of feelings dawns on me. This is it. I have to accept it. I have to use it for my future. It will not go anywhere because this is what I genuinely feel. And the feeling changes. Capricorn power dynamics. It dawns on you that you may love your job, but you're not going to coexist with your boss. It's impossible. It reached its end, its limits. Saturn is the ruler, the limits of the new moon. Sorry, full moon, full moon. But I'll speak about Saturn in just a tiny bit. Something reached the end. Something has to come to an end. So you change your job finally. Or change companies, Capricorn, actually hierarchy, where you go to a different company, the same job, you will still love your job, but other boss, other people, other colleagues, other modus operandi, other hierarchy in the company, or you get what and this can be within family, within partnerships, within job, career. I say job, but that means how you execute your career. It can be go as high as career, Capricorn, actual ruler of career, soul path. Basically, what imprint we leave on the world, our power over the world, if you will. So, this can be a very, very transformative energy, a career change, or you change the modus operandi of your career. That is massively transformative. But Mercury square Uranus, it's not easy. It's weird, it's different. And we must not forget that a few days before, a week, before the full moon, this full moon, Mars was conjunct Uranus on the 15th, 16th of July. These two planets were conjunct on Algol, fixed star Algol, the notorious fixed star, the head of Medusa, beheading. So Mercury square this point, right? News about Leo, the head of a leader falling, a leader quitting, a leader being replaced. But at the same time, 0 degree Gemini Mars there, who takes the place? The rise of the new. Shocking in both senses. And this depicts the outer sign conjunction of the full moon so beautifully, because moon in Capricorn, the old, that 29 degrees eliminated, Pluto in Aquarius, the new who takes the place. Both manifest at the same time. So this is why this full moon is kind of special. But the Neptune, until now, I just said about the bad things, the lie, the deception, the illusion, the self-delusion, the mixed up of feelings, okay. But the good part of Neptune is exactly the influence of love, the influence of the new, the influence of the future, in the sense that I want to be in it. I want to live it. I want to experience it. I'm ready for it. I have all the reasons to enter it. So the good kind of energy. Then I want to use my full moon in Capricorn, career, profession, skills, mastery, power, magic, even to do something. Pluto in Aquarius, humanitarian good, the greater good, something for everyone, sharing. This can be a massively motivational energy. It doesn't need to be doom and gloom or the bad kind of shock. Even if on the world stage, it will definitely include that. Algol is Algol. But anyway, this can be a very, very good energy. And in that case, the good type of energy, the grand air trine, I find the reasons, the means, the ideas, the principles, the goals, something to move forward. So whatever this elimination or ending is, it can be a really, almost like when a, you know, tree dies in the forest. Well, its rot is food for the earth. You immediately sorry, you immediately find a new purpose, a new goal, something. And this Mercury and Uranus can also play out. And a square doesn't have to be bad. It's tensionate, but something comes so quickly that you don't even know what to do with it yet. It will require Mercury square Uranus, either patience, figuring it out, not acting on it immediately, but it can be something very, very good. Venus in Leo, something love, passion, sensuality, siesta, holiday, gift, generosity. Venus in Leo is generosity expressed in many different ways. It shocks you. But another thing which I want to really, really cover before I don't forget is the ruler of the full moon, which is Saturn. So Saturn does two important things aspect-wise. Saturn, we must not forget, is retrograde. So things from the past can be very much part of this full moon. Things from the past that either complete or it illuminates, it highlights in a Plutonian way the need for them to find completion soonish. You know what I mean? Is conjunct Nessus, a centaur. So Nessus is known for duplicity, for deception, for vengeance. So you know what I mean. What does this mean? We go Saturn, the limitation, we go against this. Hence, we want the truth. But the truth might be purely subjective. Grand Trine with Black Moon Lilith, you know? There is no external reference, 100% trustable external truth. There is none. This is the times we live in. So whatever comes second best has to do. Subjectively, our gut feeling, Lilith, instinct, Black Moon Lilith, and Libra. The good expression, someone who we know we can trust. We might not like that person. We might not get the person. We might not, whatever, something with that person. But we know that we can trust the person in something. That person's opinion, idea, knowledge, expertise, whatever, is very trustable. So, of course, we don't care how we feel about the person. If we need their input, we trust them, and that's the value. So very oriented, and also this Neptune trining the sun. This can very well be a very intense solidarity energy, love energy, spirit energy. Let me put it in context. Something in life is hard, feels hard, intense, overwhelming. Full moon at the random erratic. It's supposed to be intense, but something equally intense, undeniably there, that is divine or positive or loving, Cancer, family, or whatever is your shell in your life. Your protection is there tumultuously, or faith, the spirit, something is there to give you comfort, to give you, or in a totally different way, Pluto, sextiling Neptune outer sign, but it doesn't matter. Something is there for you to use this energy, alchemize it, build on it. Remember the rot, the dead feeding the living, the earth, making it fertile, returning to the cycle. You can use it as some kind of food, because Cancer is also nurture, nourishment. Another thing that Saturn does, it holds a trine with asteroid Pallas Athena in Scorpio. I love this so very much because Pallas Athena is tactics. Scorpio is like, yeah, the complicated, but it bears, how should I say, the truth as it kind of is. You might say, well, it's a water, yes, a water sign, but Scorpio is the heavy water sign, right? Scorpio, the toxin and whatever, because it is how it is seen in the most rudimentary way. This is how it is without greater meaning, how it just is. And I really don't want to give scorpionic examples here because they can be a bit demoralizing or morbid. You know, those really morbid jokes, practical jokes and stuff like that. That's where there's a truth that you cannot deny, no matter how big meaning you give it. So that's the score. So Pallas Athena comes with wisdom, with knowledge, with tactics, so usefulness. There is a use here, an alchemy or magic or whatever. So there is a lot of energy to cope. Because the ruler of the full, as intense as it might be, and also karmic, Pisces. Also where we have to seek the meaning. Pisces, also there's more than to it than meets the eye, also Pisces, but this is also reflected by the outer sun conjunction with Pluto, two energies being linked together, two energies that are not necessarily always to get bedfellows. So linked together, the beginning and the end, the new and the old. So yeah, trine with Pallas Athena, it gives us the instinctual knowledge, the gut wisdom to own this energy. Now, another thing that I want to mention, and this is minor, okay, but this full moon is holding a conjunction, quite a fixed conjunction, exact conjunction with a minor asteroid named Cassandra. Now, Cassandra was a prophetess, an oracle. She had the gift of foresight. But how she got it was that Cassandra was beautiful, blah, 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 and she was courted by Apollo. And Apollo said to Cassandra that he will bless her with the gift of prophecy and foresight. And I will take a small detour here. So I will pause the legend because Aquarius, Pluto and Aquarius. Aquarius is actually foresight. Thank you. So if if she, well, um, how should I say this? Mates with him, basically. I couldn't find a better terminology. I'm so sorry for this. Well, he kept his promise, but Cassandra did not keep her promise. She rejected Apollo. So Apollo cursed her that, okay, you have your gift of prophecy, but no one ever will believe you. And Cassandra was a very powerful and accurate, superbly accurate prophetess. However, no one believed her. So you see the bitter sweetness of Cassandra. Now, what could this mean? What does Cassandra add to this? Well, either Capricorn, let's look at the symbolism of Capricorn, top-down authority, the governors, the leaders, the big power structures, the big and powerful, really. Well, they usually do like Cassandra did to Apollo because they have so many promises, but so this is where they might get into trouble. Mars in informational trouble. Something is being shared about that. Mars in Gemini. So another way to look at this is quid pro quo. Something for something. So you can't expect Capricorn, moon in Capricorn, power, authority, prestige, money, wealth, Pluto, for absolutely nothing, for the sheer sake of it. So basically, work for your power or else. Pluto in Capricorn, power of the people, the power of masses, the power of the collective, freedom, equality, everyone matters, humanitarianism, Aquarius. So Pluto comes with the threat, as in, you'd better keep your promise. But at the same time, we can also look at this that trine with Neptune. Something comes into play which tries to deceive in the sense that someone held their promise. Look, here it is. I promised, now here it is. And no one's buying it, if you know what I mean. So something is rejected, as in, that's not what you promised, or that's not good enough for us. Power of the people. So it can be like this. Or a prophecy that And when I say prophecy, let's not look at it in a mythical, esoterical, highly spiritual way, but rather than a prediction. A prediction which is not believed shows itself to be pretty real, but this can be, socio-economically, as in nothing magical about it. Or this can be scientific. Chances are, if things don't change, this will happen. Well, it happens. Saturn in Pisces. Let's put this into context. Prison, Pisces, institutionalized confinement, hospitals, quarantine, illnesses, anything that is like that. Well, the opposite sign of Pisces is Virgo, microorganisms and germs. Pisces might be their effect, what they do. You know what I mean? So it can play out in so very many different ways. And Pisces, is also, we cannot negate the fact that it might be actually karmic as well, as in it might have an element there which is, how should I, mythical, legendary, Piscean, as in it seems miraculous or it seems out of the world. It seems surreal almost. Yes, but Saturn, it's still Saturn. So Saturn means, is it real or not? As in, this is why I am hoping that this is where, no, if it's something way too spectacular, no one's gonna buy into it. We're not buying it. We know that it's an illusion. We know that it's smoke and mirrors. But Pisces duality, the opposite of that can also take place, where something doesn't show much hope and it turns out to be something so good, so benevolent, so benefic, even though Saturn himself is the malefic. But Pisces retro and Saturn retrograde, what, depending on what we've done with the malefic side, we can get the benefic side as well. And speaking about the benefic, Jupiter, the great benefic, it's in Gemini, so Mars along with Jupiter really fire up the buttons, as in the social media channels and communication and all of that. All of the Gemini traits are going to be maximally fired up, but also in a good way. Sextile Venus, the lower benefic. This can be love, this can be value, this can be, but keep it in mind that if something, something wants to deceive, and Mercury is also in shadow, in its shadow path, they will appeal to that which is too good to be true. So if someone wants to deceive us, it will use the sextile, not in a knowledgeable way that they know astrology, but they will rely on the fact that something is appealing, something looks so good, so Leo, pleasure, Leo, the content of the heart, the good stuff, ego, self, the ego. It appeals to the ego. It complements the ego. So keep this in mind. That's the danger of this energy, but it has also a lot of good. Words heal, words do something good. Also, Mercury trine not so long ago, Chiron, so there is also healing energy. And Neptune in itself heals with trine the sun, Cancer, emotional healing, releasing past trauma, forgiveness. So, but there is also very intense side to this. And remember, asteroid Cassandra, there's something mysterious there, or something needs to hold its promise, or something appears to be holding its promise, but maybe we cannot buy into it, and we see it for what it is, and we won't buy into it. But that's a great help. That's a massive blessing. Avoiding a deception, avoiding a bad decision. Saturn trine Pallas Athena, avoiding something bad, a bad choice, a bad feeling, something that can tempt us, because the grand air trine with Black Moon Lilith, Mars, and Pluto, the temptation force is in it. Remember, Nessus lied to Hercules' wife, conjunct Saturn. He did exactly that. He used her greatest fear, jealousy, her darkest emotion, jealousy, as in fear-wise that her husband would cheat on her, against her, to kill Hercules, take vengeance on Hercules. So we must be very, very diligent and lucid under this energy and not be overly impulsive. And last but not least, I would also like to speak about the Sabian symbol of this 29 degree of Scorpio, sorry, Capricorn, because I find it so significant. So the Sabian symbol is simple, a secret business conference. Put this into context. Full moon revelation, it usually sheds light on something secret. Neptune anoretic in Pisces, secret. Pallas Athena and Scorpio, secret. Gemini, Mars entering 0 degree of Gemini. Something is out there. You know what I mean? Definitely out there. Cancer, anoretic sun in Cancer. Not heavy, intense feeling of, well, here trine with Neptune, that something came to pass, like something hoped for or feared, because Pisces, double standards. Either hoped or feared came to pass, and how we react to it. Then we need to take into context Mercury squaring Uranus, shocking news, unsettling. Uh, mm, Things are information wise, speech wise, communication wise, very, very heavy, very, very intense. Another energy that we do need to take a look at is also that Jupiter holds a sextile with Venus. So the intensity may not matter, because we need to progress with everything valuable, everything that we can work with in the now in our lives. But remember Mercury in shadow. This is also setting us up for Mercury retrograde, things we will need to sort out in order to make significant progress. So yeah, it is a very, very intense and heavily karmic energy. We will see something play out. Something is definitely going to be revealed. So my advice is that let's not get lost in the intensity. Neither let us get lost in that which might be too good to be true, and the goodness of it. Neptune, the force of Neptune, the miraculous strength, or that, well, this is definitely something that the divine is dishing out to us in a totally ideal way. We cannot get into the extremes of that, but neither can we get into the depths of the despair. Whatever might be shocking or ugly. Remember Algol, the head of the Medusa. If you look into Medusa's eyes, you turn into stone. So whatever might be ugly, guilt, shameful, or otherwise, anoretic Capricorn, make you feel powerless, slave, the negative trait, because it's anoretic, we need to really, really speak about the negative traits of Capricorn. Abuse, tyranny, no chance of being able to change your condition, gatekeepers everywhere. You cannot be this and this and this until you meet Capricorn's trials and tribulation and requirements. Let me give you an example. Especially in the 90s and pre-90s, you could not really be a relevant VIP person unless you were on TV. That kind of notoriety. But to get to TV, there were so many requirements. Of course, internet era, Uranus changed all of that. Where nowadays all you need to do is just have internet connection, and that is really it. So you see the radical transfer. So it's exactly that kind of energy. So we need to embrace Pluto, really, the real, what is real, not necessarily in a very brutally stark way where we strip it of all meaning, because that is the bad thing to do. That is the bad way to use this energy. But it is us personally, who need to give it a meaning. You know what I mean? Saturn retrograde. We can't expect the meaning to be external. We need to give it the meaning. As in, this is the situation. What good do I have in it? And, you might say that there are certain situations which can't have any good in it, but replace then good with useful or practical or something creational, growing or nurturing stems from it. Even the passing of a person, you might say nothing good comes from it, but there is inheritance, there are lessons, there is remembrance, there is so much that actually comes after a person passes away that is constructive, not just destructive. So everything has in life, like, let me give you another example. There might be something which you have Saturn, a limitation, let's disability, even Saturn maybe in Pisces. So what good can come from that? If we change the tone, maybe some good can come from that. Do you have any benefits? Do you have any special rights? What are you excluded from in life? Because Saturn sometimes is divine protection. Exclusion from protects you. You can't swim. Yeah, but you would drown. You know what I mean? Maybe sometimes, especially this example, Pisces, you have a deep water phobia. Maybe sometimes a phobia should not, you can't heal it, and it's a big tragedy. Some phobias are not meant to be healed because maybe there's a karmic trigger there. A karmic trigger which, how should I say, the spirit of you becomes the mortal enemy to the spirit of insert something here. For whatever reason, in an incarnation, you upset not the essence of, the form of, the soul of, but actually the spirit, the highest possible offense of something with a gesture or whatever. Either it's known to you or not known to you. You can imagine that the element of that spirit will always be dangerous to you, even if you're totally innocent in, let's say, per this incarnation, until that conflict is resolved. Let's say, let me give you an example, and this is a bit ridiculous, but you will. Let's say that there is a sorcerer, and the sorcerer was really, really helped out in something by a fish. So the sorcerer owes big time to the spirit of the fish, spirit of water, etc. We can philosophize with this, but the sorcerer does something deeply offensive to the fish or to water, or does something deeply, deeply offensive. Well, there you go. How the water will, from there on, always be an enemy to the sorcerer in spirit, until things are put right. So you know what I mean? Sometimes. And how can the universe protect you from this? Through Saturn limitation. The fear of, and you will stay away from that. And that's a form of protection. Not always, of course. Sometimes a phobia is just a bit of insanity within us. Or, you know, you're scared of the spirit of something for no real reason, because the spirit of whatever you're scared of is neutral to you or even friendly. But you see, that's a different case where you're being deceived by a malevolent whatever, your own thought or spirit of, to be afraid of something harmless to you or something that can benefit you. So, this is why not every phobia is the same. And the deep karmic causes of certain phobias, fears are so different. That's why we cannot generalize. So, long story short, there is good in anything. And this is what this energy requires us to look at. And in order to do that, we do need to embrace Neptune trine the sun love, greater love, not selfish love, but a love as pure, almost as, I want to say Christ, but let's not do that. Let's say every single ascended grandmaster consciousness, whatever name, shape, and form, it came down culturally speaking. So let us attempt to have a love like that in our hearts. And that's when this energy can really just provide us with truth, clarity, and the path forward. So thank you so much for listening. Until next time, bye for now.